So we are in a dreamland. We are trying to project a vision for the future of India. And the future is uncertain. Anything can happen. But at the same time, human beings have this capacity to visualize the future. It need not happen the way that we visualize, but this visualization can give you some kind of guidance. That's what we are doing here. And in that process, we all have to put our heads together. Young people, old people, scholars, pundits, ordinary people. They all will have to put their heads together. So I am putting my ideas for your consideration. I was talking about the Untitled Chapter, which will comprise 2.5 million square miles of land, where the Chakravarti's horse will run uninhibited or unhindered, where capital, labor and ideas can move freely. It is only then India's full potential will be manifested. And in this Untitled Chapter, there will be 1.7 billion people. Of the 1.7 billion people, 1.5 billion will be Hindus. The rest will be Muslims and Buddhists and the rest of the people. And this Untitled Chapter is led by Vijigishus, people who want to conquer, to make a difference. The Vijigishus could be not only in the field of military, but in economics, in economic activity, businessmen, politicians, military people, sports people, scientists. They all will be Vijigishus, men with dreams and the capacity to realize their dreams. That's the idea I am projecting. In that situation, Tibet will be part of us, we have seen, and because we are only, present India represent only the Shakti, an inverted triangle, and the Shiva is sitting in Mount Kailas. Without Shakti, Shiva is useless. Without Shiva, Shakti is purposeless. Shakti has no direction. So we need a combination of Shiva and Shakti. And this we have to achieve not through military means, but through other kind of means, non-violent means, through negotiation, through simulation of ideas, by persuasion, by inspiring people, by creating win-win situations. In this accomplishing this dream, there will be no vanquished people. There will be only victors. All will be victors. People who live in Pakistan, people who live in Bangladesh, people who live in India, people who live in Afghanistan, in Myanmar or Burma or Sri Lanka, they all will be victors. Because they have a wider area of operation. Instead of living in small wells, Kuba Mandugas, they have a wider area of operation, and India will be able to claim its rightful place. And this is not a wild dream. This was once upon a time Chandragupta Maurya's kingdom extended up to Afghanistan. Akbar's kingdom extended up to Afghanistan. Ashoka's kingdom extended up to Afghanistan. So they also had control over Myanmar, Burma. So this is not just a wild, impossible dream. The geostrategy requires it. What is lacking is the ability to dream. What is lacking? The ability to make your dreams possible. So that which issues are required. We are not mice. We are like mice. We are scared of everything. There is no risk taking. One has to take risk. One has to dream big. And that's what we are supposed to do. So I am putting some ideas into the minds of people, and I am sure someone will pick it up. And from there, that nucleus, things will unfold. Some young man, like that is what Chanakya did. Chanakya came to Bihar, the modern Bihar, at that time Nandas was ruling there, a small kingdom. And Chanakya wanted a job there. Nandas ridiculed him. Oh, you are coming from far northwest and your accent is different. You are speaking a different Sanskrit, a different accent, isn't it? When North Indians come to South India, South Indians go to North India, their accent is different. So they ridiculed him. And they did not offer him a job, Nanda. And Chanakya took this resolve, I am going to assert myself. So he picked up a boy from the street, Chandragupta, trained him because he knew the capability of that boy. He trained him and he made sure that Nanda dynasty was deposed and Chandragupta was made the emperor, and Chandragupta's empire expanded, which included Afghanistan, part of Tibet and part of Burma. Chandragupta's empire was so vast, one of the biggest empire in the world at that time. So to Akbar. So it is not impossible. One man, one Brahmin, who owns nothing except a dream and ability to train people, inspire people by the power of words and ideas. He could create such a big empire. Why can't we do it now? We need some young people who can dream boldly and then dedicate themselves to realize those dreams. So, today I'll be talking about Chanakya, because Chanakya is the inspiring role model for all of us. Chanakya also is known as Kautilya. Kautilya means the clever or the wise. That's the meaning of Kautilya, who can employ any kind of tricks to realize his objectives. That was the meaning of Kautilya. So whether it is Kautilya or Chanakya was a great figure in Indian history. We have to revive Chanakya's ideas to realize this dream. So Chanakya was born in Gandhara in modern Afghanistan. And he studied in a university called Arthashastra. That also is modern, the border of Afghanistan and modern Pakistan. And he graduated from there. He got a PhD from there in the modern language, highest degree. And then he was in search of a job. At that time, the Nanda dynasty, the Nanda kings were the powerful in northern India. So he comes all the way to Pataliputra, the modern Bihar, and seeks a job. And he was refused because of his accent and ancestry. He was refused a job. And then the rest was history. He determined that I am going to make my mark in history. And then he picked up this young boy and trained him and then campaigned, and he deposed the Nanda dynasty, and Chandragupta became the emperor, and Chanakya became the prime minister of that. He himself did not become the emperor. He was the prime minister, the advisor, the kingmaker, not the king himself. So he has the freedom and the leisure to strategize things. And it is from this experience that he wrote this magnum opus, the work on political economy called Arthashastra. Arthashastra means the science of wealth, the science of political economy. Because politics and economics are two sides of the same coin. A political act has its impact on economy, and the economy has its impact on the politics, and sometimes good economics may not be good politics, sometimes good politics may not be good economics, but a successful statement will have to align these two, a good economics with the good politics. That's what Chandragupta tried to achieve in his Arthashastra. So Arthashastra should be made a modern text for us. I was told that in Pakistan they teach Arthashastra in their military academy. Here we don't teach. There they teach because Chanakya came from Pakistan, modern Pakistan, Takshashila or Gandhara. And hence, they teach, we don't teach. Actually, we also have to teach Arthashastra, not only in our military academies, but IIMs, Management Institute, Science Institute, we have to teach Arthashastra. So when I think about Chanakya, so Chanakya was the first empire builder in India. One of the largest empire was built by Chanakya, maintained by Chanakya, expanded by Chanakya strategies. So Chanakya, when I think about Chanakya, three stories come to my mind, which defines his character. Once Chanakya was going to take a bath in the river, and he tripped on a grass, and he fell down. He tripped because a grass which was growing on the way, so he tripped on them, fell down, and he sat down there. He plucked the grass. He did not say, it's a grass, I don't care. For statesmen, they don't leave anything unattended. A supreme attention is necessary, even for minute details. So he sat down there, plucked the grass, then he saw the grass still has roots. It will grow again. So he dig around the grass, plucked the grass by the root, and he burnt it. And he mixed ash with the water, and he drank that water. And he said, this is how I will deal with my enemy. I leave no enemy. I don't leave anybody. I will completely destroy my enemies. I'm not going to leave anybody hurt, but I will completely destroy that person. That kind of attention for details, that nobody is left unattended, no issue is left unattended. This is one of the characteristics of Chanakya. We sometimes say, "Theek hai, koi baat nahi. Let us leave it." Those are the people who are going to come back to you and attack you. So don't leave a snake hurt, because if you leave a snake hurt or elephant hurt, they will come back. So if you have an enemy, deal with it. Deal with it totally. Don't leave an issue half-heartedly or half-finished. This was Chanakya's principle. You have to go the whole hog and finish the issue. So that was his determination. That is one story. Another story is Chanakya during the time of campaign against Nandas, he used to create problem in the city, talk to people, create revolutions, turn people against the king, but it didn't work. So he has to retreat. And then he was a guest in some old lady's house, and the lady gave him hot rice, cooked hot rice in a heap, and he was eating. He plunged his fingers into the middle of the rice, and his fingers got burnt. The lady said, "You are a poor strategist. You should start from the periphery. Don't attack straight. Start from the periphery, slowly move into the center." And Chanakya understood, this is a great strategy, military strategy. Don't go and attack in the center. Move slowly from the periphery, from the outskirts, and then you can pull down the center. He learned the greatest military strategy from this old lady who never read any book, but he has practical wisdom. And then Chanakya took that lesson to his heart, and from there he never looked back. He could pull down on the dynasty using this strategy. And the third story, Chanakya, he saw the bees taking honey from the flowers without hurting the flower. The bee will land on the flower, soft land, put out its proboscis, suck honey, come out. The bee is happy, the flower also is happy. So without hurting the flower, you have to take honey from the flower. This is how you should tax people. Taxation should not hurt people. It should not be too high, nor it should be too little. It should be just right. And then alone, people will be happy in paying taxes, people will be happy with the king and the government. Chanakya learned a vital lesson from the bees. A wise man learned lesson from nature. Wise man learned lesson from ordinary people, not from books. Books are old wisdom. It has no value now. All bookish wisdom is pertaining to the old situation. Situations are always new. So a wise person should always keep his or her eyes and ears open so that you can learn from nature, from bees, from ants, from elephants, from rivers, from the ups and downs of nature. You should be able to learn. So the whole nature is a university for an intelligent person, not books. Books also are a source of wisdom. I don't say no, but books are not the only source of wisdom. There are three sources of understanding, knowledge. One is nature, one is books, all the books, one is your own inner self. You have to consult yourself. You have to consult yourself, look nature, and read from books, and all this information has to be processed to create a wisdom. So Chanakya was a great observer of nature and people. This is a modern theory of management. A leader. A good leader wouldn't read many books. If you give him 15 books, be assured that he will not read that book. A good leader has no time to read books. He only observe people, listen to people. A good leader's wisdom comes from listening, not from reading. A good leader's wisdom comes from observing and discussing, not simply by reading books, and that's how he creates wisdom. Chanakya was like that. He always observed and gathered his wisdom. So these three stories are very important, knowing the character and the personality of Chanakya. And Chanakya was the first theorist of the state. What is a state? A state means a country, a nation. A nation, when it is organized under a constitution or under a leader, it becomes a state. We know the state has got three wings: the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. And in America, all these are separate. Executive is the president, legislature is the Congress, and the judiciary is the Supreme Court. They are all independent. And they are all guided by the Constitution. The American Constitution is the shortest constitution in the world. And they had only very few amendments. After 200 years, American Constitution has only 25 amendments. Our Constitution is the bulkiest in the world. And we already have 103 or 104 amendments. And it's still growing. For a simple thing, there is an amendment. So our Constitution is very bulky, very ponderous, very confusing and complex. And Britain has no constitution. British Parliament, whatever the Parliament decides, according to the situation, that becomes the constitution. That becomes the law. So Parliament is supreme there. In America, Constitution is supreme. In India, Constitution and Parliament, they have a kind of dual control over the state of affairs. So state has got coercive powers. Unlike an ordinary organization, a religious organization has no coercive power. They have only persuasive power. A family has no coercive, and of course Indian families have coercive power. If children don't listen to parents, they will give you a slap or deny food. Put them in the doghouse. You cannot do it in America. If you slap your child can pick up the phone and say police will come and put you in prison. Because there every individual is a citizen. Every individual has got their own rights. Parents have no right over the children to slap. Parents can, the parents have to take care of the children, but they cannot slap or abuse the children. Here we can do that. We can give a slap, we can deny them food, we can put them in the doghouse, you can do all those things. So what I am saying is, in the Markya works under the constitution. In India, we work under the precedents and then customs and traditions and all that. But when a nation become a full-fledged nation, all the citizens will have absolute freedom to pursue their own destiny, to create their own future. So my point was, the state is a new phenomena. The Western state is a new phenomena. After 1648 Westphalia Convention, they created the idea of the state. And those states are generally with one language, one religion, and one ethnicity. That is their idea of a state. But Indian states are not like that. In India, there is many languages, many religions, many ethnicities. It's a conglomerate, it's a basket of religions, ethnicities, and languages. So our idea of a state is much more complex. So Chanakya was the first theorist of the state. How to run a state, how to constitute a state, how to run a state, and what is the motivation for the state. All these are discussed by Chanakya in his Arthashastra. So Chanakya says a state must have a Swami. A Swami means the leader, the prime minister or the king. Swami, the state is centered around the Swami. If there is no leader to hold things together, that state cannot exist. So Swami is very, very important. Any organization, you need a Swami, isn't it? You need a Swami where the buck stops. A person says, here the buck stops, he takes decisions, and that he is taking responsibility for the decision. So Chanakya's theory of the state is, a state is centered around a Swami. And today, our Indian state is centered around the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the decision-making authority. And Prime Minister is responsible to the Parliament. Parliament is responsible to the people. So finally, the final authority is the people in India. We, the people of India, give ourselves this constitution for our own well-being. That's how our constitution begins. So according to Chanakya, the king is the center of the state. And the king is not elected. At that time, there was no election. The king captured the power by his military muscle and power. And once he captured the power, then he has to maintain the power. So the king, the leader, is very, very important. And Chanakya says, the king cannot take arbitrary decisions. The king should have amatyas, advisors, ministers. A king who takes decision without discussing the ministers will not last long, according to him. The king always should seek advice, consult with the people, ministers, friends, saints, Brahmins, and his own intelligent network. He has to discuss with all those people. Then he takes the decision. So king is not arbitrarily taking a decision, though he is the repository of legislative, judiciary, and executive powers. Unlike today, these are all separate wings. But Chanakya's concept, the king is the super head. We have the president. The president is supposedly the head of the state, and he can dismiss the parliament, and he is the head of the army. President is the head of the army. He can declare war. And president is the head of the state. It is under president's sign appointments are made, whether it is a judge or a president only gives oath to the legislatures. So president for us is the ultimate power. But our president is a useless president. He has power. Apparently he has got power, but he has to execute that power on the advice of the prime minister. Actually, prime minister is the power behind the president. And prime minister is responsible to the parliament. If he loses majority in the parliament, he has to resign. So this is the modern system. But in Chanakya's time, entire power is represented by one individual, and he comes to power by force. He must have the power. That's how he runs the country. So a king, Swami, and amatyas, advisors. Amatya means ministers and advisors. And he also must have a janapada, A set of people loyal to the king. Janapada. Janapada means people. A king without people, what will he do? He is no more a king. So he needs a set of people, a land, a country is necessary. So Swami, Amatya, Janapada, Mitra. The kings must have close friends because they are his real advisors, within the country and outside the country also. If a king is surrounded by enemies all sides, then that king cannot remain long because there is always attack from the outside powers. So king have some friends outside, like India is seeking friendship with Japan, Vietnam, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, America. America also got a coalition of willing people, isn't it? America alone cannot stand. They need supporters. So you need supporters inside and outside. They are called Mitras. For any individual, you need some supporters inside and outside, close people. So Swami, Amatya, Janapada, Mitra, and then the other important limb of the state is Durga. Durga means the fort, the forts, meaning strong defense mechanisms. You should be able to defend your borders from the enemy attack. If you cannot defend your borders from enemy attack, then you cannot survive. So they should have Durgas. On those days, Durga means there will be a fort on a hilltop, and the minister, the king will retreat into that and then defend himself from enemy attacks. But these days, Durga means defense, border defense. Now today I heard Modi, we send some kind of planes to Pakistan and drop some devices and all that. So we must have the power to defend our borders, without which we cannot maintain a state. Durga means that. So Swami, Amatya, Janapada, Mitra, Durga, and Kosha. Kosha means financial muscle. You must have enough GDP to support not only the defense but social security measures. You need enough money. Without the money, a bankrupt country cannot survive. So you have to make sure you have enough resources, goods and services, powerful and successful companies, and agriculture, industry, research, defense. All those things are necessary, which is called the kosha. And India is somehow or other today is safe because our forex reserve is about maybe $400 billion. There was a time in 1990, our forex reserve dipped into $15 billion, which was sufficient, was only for a week. And we got panicked. We lifted all our gold to England, and then we had to get money from there. So slowly we built up. Now we have a forex reserve of $400 billion, which is very important. So you need enough money. Even a house, you should not spend more than your income. Of course, these days you borrow and spend, isn't it? That's not a wise policy. When you borrow and spend, you have to invest that borrowed money, not for consumption, but investment. You can borrow provided you invest. If you invest, the money has to come back, what you call ROI, return over investment. If you don't get the money back, then you are again become bankrupt. So the wise financial management is very, very important according to Chanakya. Because the nation's survival depends upon your financial health. Financially, if you are unhealthy, then you will be always running for loans, and then you get into debt trap. The nation can get into debt trap, which is not healthy according to Chanakya. So what are the important limbs of the state? Swami, a powerful leader. Amatya, good advisors. Friends, the Mitra, good friends, both inside and outside. For example, Indian Prime Minister Modi, you must have some good friends, Adanis, Ambanis. These friends are necessary because they are the one who will support him. Therefore, he will do some favor to them. That's how politics works. Don't feel bad about that. If the Prime Minister doesn't support these people, promote those people, he will become friendless. He will have only enemies. After demonetization, all the traders have become Modi's enemies. They were his main supporters once upon a time. So he took a demonetization. It's a very bold step, whatever may be the reason. But then what happened? All the traders, small traders, became against him. So politically it was an unwise decision. Economically it may be wise. Only economists can tell that. So therefore you need friends here inside. You need friends outside also. That's why Modi is running all around. Half of his days are outside India, isn't it? He is going to Korea. Now he has been to Korea. Now he has come back. And now he is going to somewhere else. So these friends are necessary for you to survive. And inside a friends also are necessary. For election you need money. If you don't have money, how will you run an election? That's why Gandhi didn't run an election, because he didn't have any money. If you want to run election, you need money. You have to promote these kind of people. So mitras are necessary. These are all practical politics. Otherwise, don't be in politics. You sit in a cave and say Ram Ram and sit there. When you are in politics and business, you must be smart and shrewd. You must know where your bread is, what side of the bread is buttered. If you don't know that, you have no business to be in either in business or in politics. Politics is the art of the possible. Business is the art of the possible. Therefore, we need good friends according to Chanakya. These are Chanakya's theory of the state. And if you want to be a statesman or a politician, you have to follow all these principles. If you want to run a state or even an organization, you have to follow all those principles. These days, even to run a family, you need to follow this principle. You have to befriend your wife against the children or children against the wife. Otherwise, you cannot survive. They all gang up. Even they all gang up, wife and children gang up, and the servant also gang up. The dog also will gang up with them. You will be isolated. Then you think of where is the ashram. I will go and sit there. In ashram also you need friends. If you don't have friends there, you don't get food. So first thing you have to do in the ashram to see who is holding the key. Otherwise you will have no food, you get nothing. Then you will have to leave the ashram also. Then you become a Trishangu. Neither home nor ashram. I don't know where to go. Then you curse everybody. The next is suicide. Or take a gun and shoot 10 people and go and sit in the jail, prison. So therefore you need friends. So Swami, Amatya, Janapada, Mitra, Durga, you need defenses. You need some place to feel secure. Durga is necessary. And as a nation is concerned, the borders should be defended properly. Even now Russia and America, they all installed anti-ballistic missiles all over the borders. So if a missile takes from Russia to land in America, America can intercept it in the middle and destroy it. We need that power. If a bomber takes off from Pakistan and headed towards India, we must have the power to intercept it and destroy it in the mid-air. If we don't have that power, it will fall in Ahmedabad or Delhi, and then there will be pandemonium. You need that power. You need that defense power and to protect the people. So Durga is very, very important. Kosha is very, very important. And so these are the things. Swami, I repeat it because you should remember it. Swami, Amatya, Janapada, Mitra, Kosha, and finally Danda, the power to punish and reward. A powerful leader must have the power to punish and reward. If somebody is not following the law, we must be able to put him under bar, put him behind the prison. If you don't have that power, then you cannot be a leader. And at the same time, you must also be able to reward those who support you. If you don't reward your supporters, they will desert you. Next election, they will not vote for you. So you must have the ability to punish as well as reward people. This is Rajanidhi. This is not just spirituality. In spirituality we say, I will not punish, I will not reward anybody. I am neutral. If you praise me, I'll just keep quiet. If you criticize me, then also I will keep quiet. Neither reward nor tulya nindastu dirmavani. Not in politics, not in the governance of the state. You cannot be tulya nindastu dirmavani. Those who go against your law, against the law, that must be punished. So this ability to danda, punish and reward, is also an important instrument of statecraft, he says. Even running a home, if the children are not listening to you, you have to punish them, isn't it? You have to punish them. How you punish, that you can decide. Depending upon whether you depend on the children or children depend upon you, you can decide whom to punish, how to punish and all that. But that capacity is necessary running a organization. So according to Chanakya, the 7 limbs of the state are these: a powerful leader and amatyas. At that time there was no legislature, no democracy, no representative democracy, no judiciary. Everything coalesced in the king. The king was the adjudicator, king was the legislator, and king was the executive also. This was Chanakya's concept. So that concept of the king has changed now. King is no more self-appointed king. King has to be elected. He has to have the majority vote in parliament. So these days, the king means for us, the prime minister is the king. He also needs all this. So this is Chanakya's theory of state. So anybody wants to capture power in this country, or you expand your power, you must follow these 5-7 principles of Chanakya. If you form a party, you must have a powerful leader. If you are not a powerful person, you cannot form a party, you cannot expand the party, you cannot capture power. Even if you capture power, you will not be able to remain there without these principles. So I should say, Chanakya was the first theoretician about the state in India. So this Arthashastra is a very important text. Any politician, any businessman should read this Arthashastra. Have any of you read Arthashastra? Anybody heard about the text? Yeah. So he has read it, so you can go and consult him. When you start a business, when you want to join politics, you have to consult Arthashastra, because that is our fundamental text. Otherwise, you'll have to read Machiavelli. You have to read some theoretician from West, or a Marxian theoretician, or American theoretician. And instead of that, let us read our own books, because this was born in our own soil. That will give you a better guidance than reading Western books. Arthashastra should be made a textbook, not only IIMs, in military academies and business institutions, Arthashastra. Now, Chanakya's theory of state. Chanakya propounded a welfare state. Chanakya says, what is the purpose of a state? What is the purpose? Why a state? Why do you constitute yourself into a state? What is the purpose? What does the state is expected to deliver? Chanakya says, the purpose of the state is Praja Sukham Raja Sukham. It's a very interesting formulation. Praja Sukham Raja Sukham. So the welfare of the people is the purpose of the state. Their progress, their material and spiritual and social progress is the purpose of the state. The people should be happy. If the people are not happy, according to Chanakya, they have the right to pull down the state, the king. He has no right to be there. So the purpose of the state is the Praja Sukham Raja Sukham. And for that, what should the king do? What should the ruler do? According to Chanakya, Arthasya Sambhadanam, Arthasya Rakshanam, Arthasya Vardhanam. These 3 things he says. You have to create wealth, You have to maintain that wealth and you have to increase wealth. Arthasya, Sambhadanam, Rakshanam and Vardhanam. That's why it's Arthashastra. Now we are talking about GDP growth now, isn't it? India's GDP is now $3 trillion. India had till 1990, India progressed only 3.5% per annum, which is called the Hindu rate of growth. Now Manmohan Singh opened up, or Narasimha Rao opened up, free market, competition, FDI flow into the country. And as a result, and more exports. As a result of that, large mass of people have been uplifted above the poverty line. So this is the purpose of the state, to increase the GDP, the wealth of the nation. And how do you increase the wealth of the nation? You can follow the market principle, state can do that. Like in China, everything is done by the state. Like in USA, everything done by private individuals. What kind of economy, what kind of economic policies you pursue depend upon the need of the country. But some or other, you have to increase the wealth, the GDP of the country. So, Prajasukham, according to Chanakya, depend upon the wealth of the country. Arthamulau dharmakamo, he says. That is Chanakya's formulation. Arthamulau dharmakamo. Your dignity, your ethics, everything depends upon your wealth. If you are a wealthy person, you will be an honest person. Our idea, the wealthy persons are all chore, isn't it? Chanakya's idea is that if you are wealthy, comfortably wealthy, then you can afford to be honest. If you have no bread on the table, you don't know where is the next meal, you will become a thief. You will try to snatch food from the other. You will try to break into somebody's house. You will tell lies. Did you take it? No. You will tell lies. Even children with a stick. Did you take that? What will the child say? No. Because if you tell the truth, what is the punishment? You will punish him. So the child will say, no, I didn't take it. So according to Chanakya, human dignity depends upon wealth. If you are not wealthy, you feel inferiority, you compare yourself, and you become dishonest. You may agree, you may not agree with me, but Chanakya is what he says. And when I observe people, it is partly true also. People with the means, they are more honest. They are more upfront. They lead a dignified life. Then they can do yajnas, they can do charity, they can lead a dignified life. If you are crawling on the ground like a beggar or a worm, then there is no dignity at all. So according to Chanakya, Arthamulau dharmakamo. Your dharma and kama depends on, kama means your life, your satisfaction depend upon artha. Whereas Vyasa formulated in a different way. Vyasa's formulation is dharmakamo arthamulau. See the Vyasa's formulation. Everything depends upon dharma. Dharma means your honesty, your integrity. If you are a person of integrity and honesty, everything will come to you. But Chanakya says, if you are a person of means and wealth, everything will come to you. You can debate among yourself. Chanakya's formulation seems to be much more practical. What will you choose, an honest life or a rich life? As Gujaratis, I am sure you will choose a rich life, isn't it? Because this is a trader's culture here. So you may choose a rich life. When you are rich, then you are honest. Then you are generous. Then you are ready to give things to people. So arthamulau dharmakamo. Artha is very, very important. And then, how do you create wealth? He says, what is wealth? Artham. He says, Manishyavadi bhumihi arthaha. Chanakya's formulation. Manishyavadi bhumihi arthaha. Our idea of artha is gold, is artham, wealth. Or land is wealth. According to Chanakya, no. Gold and land is not wealth. Gold and land in association with the human beings are wealth. Human beings give value to that. Manushyavadi bhumihi arthaha. When men interact, when people interact with the land, then wealth is created, he says. Suppose you have gold, plenty of gold, and you are lost in a desert with all that gold, no water. You are hungry, thirsty. Then somebody brings a glass of water. And he says, give me all the gold, then I'll give you water. If you don't give me all the gold, I will not give you water. Will you not barter the gold with that glass of water? You will. Because your survival is more important. So according to Chanakya, mere land is not wealth. Land interacting with the human beings, Manushyavadi bhumihi arthaha. And the evidence is Israel. Israel is a very barren land. But Jewish people came there, made a prosperous nation out of Israel. So to Japan, no natural resource. No natural resource. But people, intelligent people, interacting, Japan is one of the richest nations in the world. Whereas we, India, by nature we are very rich, but our people are very poor. Though somebody said India is the rich land with the poor people. Whereas Japan is a poor land with the rich people. So to Israel is a poor land with the rich people. So what is important is the ingenuity and the resourcefulness of the people, not just the land, not just the resources. So according to Chanakya, Manushyavadi bhumihi arthaha. So artha means human beings interacting, hard-working individuals create wealth. If you don't work, there is no wealth. And wealth is necessary for a dignified life. Chanakya is very frank about that. Chanakya is very frank. He doesn't try to delude you. So, these are some of the fundamental principles of Chanakya, that prajasukham, rajasukham, arthamulau, dharmakamo, manushyavadi, bhumihi, arthaha. So Chanakya ran a welfare state, because in Chanakya Chandragupta's time, widows, children, orphans, and old people got state support. Suppose you are an old man, nobody to support you, you are alone and single. According to Chanakya, the state should support that individual. Similarly, an orphan, a child who lost his parents, the state should support. Similarly, widows, the state should support. And unemployed people, according to Chanakya, state should support. The unemployed people must be given land, he says. Give him some patch of land, let him work there. In the modern concept is, unemployed people should be given unemployment support by the state. So Chanakya proposed a welfare state. For the first time, this is all 3rd century BC. It is not this welfare state ideal came much later in the West. 3rd century BC, Chanakya talked about a welfare state. And so theorize. Chanakya's other important idea is the theory of Mandalas. A very interesting idea. The theory of Mandala says, your neighbor is your natural enemy. Your neighbor will be his natural enemy. He will try to push the fence a little into your land, unless you are careful. His tree branches will come into your land. And wherever the shadow of a tree branch falls, he says, this is my land. You should be always careful about your neighbor, he says. Neighbor is your natural enemy. It is true, Pakistan is our natural enemy. Bangladesh, Nepal. Why should Nepal be our enemy? They are Hindus. Most of Nepalis are in India. Their main income support is from India. And still Nepal is our enemy. They want to support China against us. Why? This is Chanakya. Chanakya knew that. Your enemy, your neighbor will be your natural enemy. Be careful about them. Another formulation is, your enemy's neighbor will be your natural friend. That's the Mandala theory. Your neighbor will be your natural enemy. His neighbor will be your natural friend. So you have to align with them. That is why China is our natural enemy. Japan is our friend. Because Japan is the neighbor of China. So between Japan and China there is enmity. Between India and China there is enmity. Therefore Modi goes to Japan. Modi goes to Korea. Because Korea has a border with China. Vietnam has a border with China, so national enemies. So Modi goes and discusses with Vietnam. Vietnam is our strategic friend. China is our strategic enemy. Pakistan is a strategic enemy. Afghanistan is our strategic friend. Iran is our strategic friend. So this way, Modi has conceived the idea of Mandalas, balance of power, putting one against the other. This is called the balance of power. I don't have to directly confront you. I can put, China is doing that. China is putting Pakistan against us. Isn't it? China is putting Pakistan against us. And they are happy that India and Pakistan are in eternal war. They are happy about it. So, and Pakistan is using these non-state players against India. These are all Chanakya's trick. Chanakya envisaged all this. This is how the state runs. So this is called the Mandala theory. So the wise statesman will be able to play with these ideas. How to play one against the other. And how to make enemies. How to break enemies. How to collect your friends. And how to create problem among your enemies. All these are Chanakya's theory. This is called the Mandala theory. Now, so Chanakya envisaged a welfare state. He had this Mandala theory, and he was the first theoretician of the state in India. And he conceived about the 7 principles of a state. Now I am going to explain to you 10 theories, 10 formulations of Chanakya, which is very famous. Chanakya says, Sukhasya moolam dharmaha, he says. Sukha is the ultimate goal of human being. That is the purpose of a state also. The state's purpose is not to increase the army or increase the GDP or increase the land. What the state purpose is to make human beings happy, citizens happy. Citizens feel that sense of well-being. So, Sukhasya moolam, that's the ultimate goal. In spirituality, that is the ultimate goal. In the politics also, that is the ultimate goal. Sukha. Of course, the concept of Sukha may differ a little bit. In spirituality, the concept of Sukha is renounce your desires, isn't it? When you have less desire, you will be happier. That is spirituality. Whereas in politics and economics, the concept of Sukha is you have to fulfill all your desires to be happy. You have to consume more to be happy. Whereas in spirituality, you have to consume less to be happy. Of course, you cannot extrapolate to the extreme extent. Therefore, there is one who has no desire will be happy, you cannot say that. Minimum desire. So spirituality wants you to reduce your desire. Whereas materialism or politics or economics wants you to increase your desire and strive to fulfill your desire. By science, technology, exploiting nature, going to moon and bringing resources. That is what economics says. Don't reduce your desire. That is what this economics is defined as a choice between economic studies, human behavior with reference to infinite needs and limited resources. How using limited resources you can fulfill infinite needs. That's the definition of economics. So politics and economics politics want to expand the power. Economics want to expand the production. More desire, more production, isn't it? Once upon a time, what was our desire? A simple hut. Little rice, little onion, little salt. That's all what you need. We will sit on the floor and we will eat it. Not anymore. Now you need shoes, socks, pant, shirt, watch, a cell phone also. Roti kapda makana is not enough. You need a cell phone also. Without a cell phone, you are a poor man in this country, isn't it? But 50 years ago, nobody knew about cell phone. Nobody knew about telephone. Nobody knew about television. Nobody knew about a car. Now everybody is desiring a car, a cell phone, a television, an air conditioner, a washing machine. Isn't it? Good clothing. All these are. Earlier you used to walk barefoot. And we theorized it also. Walking barefoot is good for the brain. That was the yogis theory. When you walk barefoot, then the acupuncture, it put pressure on various parts of the feet and then it helps you the brain. These days, because we use shoes, we are not getting that benefit. And therefore our brain has become atrophied. Those who wear shoes, they will have no brain, they say. Therefore walk barefoot. What is true, we don't know. Should I walk without shoes or with shoes? Earlier you used to say you have to squat and then when you go for nature call you have to squat. And now you are sitting on the WC and that affects your stomach, that affects your digestion, that affects your nature calls. So the modernity has brought in a lot of problems to us. At that time also we were happy. But economic development means you have to increase your desires. You need a huge home where only 2 people are living. And in one room. Because upstairs, when you become old, you cannot walk. So you live in one room. Big mansion. Do you really need it? You don't need it. But you need it because status symbol. You need a car and a driver. Are you driving it? No, because you are paralyzed. But status symbol. So we have become status conscious people. As a result of that, too many things. And you buy all of them. Why are you buying? Because if I buy 2, I get 1 extra. You need only that 1 extra. You don't need 2. But you buy 2 because you get 1 extra. So those kind of contradictions are there. Economics means you have to increase your desire. Spirituality means you have to decrease your desire. Both are aiming at happiness. Both are aiming at happiness. So Chanakya also says, ultimate human purpose is happiness. So sukhasya moolam. Now how do you gain that happiness, he says? Sukhasya moolam dharmaha, he says. Dharma. Dharma means living within means. That is dharma. You have to live within your means. Whatever you earn, you have to spend within that. A moderate life. Living within your means. Dharma also can mean leading an honest life. Leading an honest life, dharma. Now, Chanakya's next formulation is dharmasya moolam arthaha, he says. To lead an honest life, to lead a dignified life, you need wealth. Earlier we have said, artha moolam dharmagamo. So, sukhasya moolam dharma, please follow the logic. Sukhasya moolam dharmaha, dharmasya moolam arthaha. Arthasya moolam rajyam, he says. To create wealth, to lead a dignified life, especially to support this large population, you need more wealth, more production. Simple organic production will not help. Though I am supporting organic, but with organic production you may not be able to support all those people. Because most of the people are living in the cities. In the area of agriculture only 10%, 20%, maybe maximum 25%. So there if you go for organic, you will not be able to support. You need a high-yielding varieties of seeds. If you go for organic, you will not, population should shrink, come down. So to support all these people, this burgeoning population, you need all kind of genetically modified and use of fertilizers, use of this, use of that. Then alone you can support. And the downside is people are becoming sick, cancer, heart attack, diabetes, all those things come. This is a trade-off. This is a trade-off. Even if people die of cancer and diabetes because a large number of population we can afford, because we think in average. Large number of population, even if some 100 people die, doesn't matter. So cancer, incidence of cancer increase. Wherever I go, I see 1 or 2 people are suffering from cancer. Even a yogi, recently I met a yogi, he's a very famous yogi, a young man, 45 years old, suffering from liver cancer. So we were all wondering why a yogi should get cancer. Maybe secretly he's a bhogi, who knows. Because a yogi should not fall ill. That's the discipline of yoga. So we find, because it is not what is personal discipline, it is the environment. You are living in an environment where you are using pesticides, you are using fertilizers, you are living in pollution. As a result of that, you inhale that. So with that polluted air, if you do pranayama, what happens? More pollution, isn't it? It's not only outside world is polluted, your lungs also is polluted. So doing yoga in a wrong environment is more harmful than not doing yoga. If you want to do yoga, you have to go to the Himalayan peaks where it is pure air. If you come down to Ahmedabad and do yoga, God alone knows what kind of air you are breathing. God alone knows. Even in your home, you don't know whether you have pure air. What kind of fruit? I am only eating fruit. What kind of fruit are you eating? The apple, the pineapple, or all those things, all pesticide. Are you washing it properly? No, you are in a hurry. By the time you buy from the market, a couple of fruits go into your stomach, isn't it? Therefore, the fruit that we eat, the leafy vegetable that we take, it's all dangerous. So, but at the same time, you cannot help it. If you go back to natural farming, then our productive yield will go down. Everybody should be farmers. Everybody should reduce their needs. Then you cannot have surplus income to make atom bombs and fighter planes and aeroplanes and all that. There is no surplus income. We don't think all those things. We run behind one idea and ignoring another thing, so there is imbalance. So wise man has to think all this, the effect of what you are doing. So according to Chanakya, Sukhasya moolam dharmaha, dharmasya moolam arthaha, arthasya moolam rajyam. Rajya means the kingdom, the country, an organization. Because alone you cannot achieve anything, he says. Suppose you are alone, living in an island, what can you do? You have to catch a fish and then eat a raw fish, isn't it? Not even fire is possible. Alone, you can do nothing. Alone, you cannot explore or express your full potential. You can express your full potential only in association with others. And especially in this world where more and more specialization. You are specializing in the eye, so the eye doctor. So I come to you. Then you ask me, which eye you have problem? I have problem in the left eye. I am not a specialist on that. You go to that doctor. Then I go to him. What is your problem? Your problem is in the cornea. I am not expert in that. I am expert in something else. So this specialization has led to a situation. You know more and more about less and less. And finally, you know everything about nothing. That's what happens. So even for one simple treatment, you need a galaxy of doctors. All doctors are hovering around you, the patient. One is expert on heart, one is expert on kidney, one is expert on brain, one is expert on that. All these experts sit together and they don't understand each other's language also. So it will become a dialogue of the deaf. These are some of the problems we are facing now. So Chanakya says it is very important that we come together, learn the language of communication. The experts speak such a language, the other expert doesn't understand. So we need some way of communicating, and hence he says Rajyam. So Raja does not mean only the kingdom. Raja means any kind of organization. Whether it is a family or a corporate entity or an NGO or education institute, whatever. We cannot express our talents or fulfill our needs all by ourselves. We need a grouping of people. Rajyam is very, very important. Now, Rajyasya Moolam is very interesting. He says, Rajyasya Moolam Indriya Nigraham, he says. To come together as a group of people with a different interests and talents, you need self-control, Indriya Nigraham. You must have emotional discipline, he says. Because if you don't have emotional discipline, then you will fight against each other. Jealousy, competition, suspicion, distrust, hierarchies. So we will not be able to work as a team. To work as a team, you need Indriya Nigraham or emotional intelligence. These days, the word used is emotional intelligence or people skills or soft skills. Without soft skill, you may be a very efficient person by yourself, but in a team, you create negative energy. Isn't it? We create negative energy. That's what I say. One Indian can do 10 Japanese work. One Indian is equal to 10 Japanese. But 10 Indians are equal to 1 Japanese, you see. Because crab mentality comes. We don't have that emotional intelligence. We are always shout and scream. We don't engage in rational discussion, problem-solving discussion. Our discussions are all problem-creating discussion, is it not? At the end of the discussion, more problem. We spend 2 hours discussing husband and wife. And still, the problem is not solved. There is more problem. Or in a corporate environment, discussions are all leading to more and more confusion. It's not a problem-solving discussion, because problem-solving discussion requires rationality, ability to reason, state your position, listen to the other person's position, and try to compare these two positions and come to an honest decisions. We don't have that. We are all Vidandavadins. Vidandavadin means I take my position, you take your position, and the twain shall never meet. This is lack of emotional intelligence. So according to Chanakya, we need emotional intelligence. Whether it is a family setup or a NGO organization or a corporate entity, we need the ability to present our position calmly, listen to the other person's position properly, and then try to compare intelligently, and then come to an appropriate decision. And then work out those decisions. Work based on that. So which is called Indriya Nigraham. Indriya Nigraha is very, very important. That is what we are lacking. I find the Indriya Nigraha in the US, America and Britain. They are very calm people. Whatever you say, they may be telling something which you don't like, but they can put it very sweetly. They'll tell you tomorrow onwards you don't have to come to the office. They'll say it very beautifully. Tomorrow onwards, you have been working very hard and you contributed very much to our organization, and you are a very bright boy. You can have better chances outside, so I allow you to go. That's what they'll say. Not that you are a useless person. You have been doing nothing here, so I am throwing you out. That's not. Very beautifully. They put the knife very sweetly. Like putting needle into the banana, very sweetly they will do that. And you also feel good. So that way of communication we have to yet to master. Though Indians are very spiritual people, that spirituality has been skin deep. It has not gone into their way of relating with the people, arguing about issues. And the more we argue, the more we go separate ways. We are never able to create consensus views. So, they say it's very important that we develop emotional intelligence or EQ. We are high IQ. Indians are very good mathematicians, very good physicists. Indians are occupying high position in the United States, whether it is Microsoft or Google or PepsiCo or Harvard Management Institute, wherever you go, because there the training is different. They say things it's only the Trump was a little different now. Maybe I think there is a method in his madness also. Why is saying that? There must be some method, I am sure. Otherwise, Americans are very, very polished people. They can say very unpleasant things in a very nice way. We cannot do that. That's why we are not able to come to decisions or consensus. Decisions are not possible. So Chanakya emphasizes on the importance of Indriya Nigraha, to build teams and build organization, to build a nation. Indriya Nigraha is very, very important. And then he says, how do you gain Indriya Nigraham? According to Chanakya, Indriya Nigraha is possible in Vruddha Seva, he says. Vruddha Seva. Serving experts, having a mentor is very, very important. Having a mentor, a Vruddha. A Vruddha means a mature person, an adult, a mature person. It can be Shila Vruddha, Guna Vruddha, Vayo Vruddha, Jnana Vruddha. There are various kind of Vruddhas. Vruddha means a mature person who can approach issues very calmly, doesn't react. So it can be Shila Vruddha, a mature person by his Shila, his character, or Guna Vruddha, his qualities, or Vayo Vruddha, by age. By age also you gain some wisdom, isn't it? By the time you are 80, 84, you will have some wisdom. Because now you have no stake. You are already dying. So you become very wise. So therefore, it is called Vayo Vruddha, Shila Vruddha, Guna Vruddha, Tabo Vruddha. One who dedicated himself to a cause, he becomes Tabo Vruddha. So these kind of Vruddhas, Seva, serve them. Have a mentor in them. Become a mentee, he says, and have a mentor. So the mentor-mentee relationship will give you the ability to balance your emotions. Those kind of relationships are very, very important. In any organization, you need that. If you want to be successful in politics, you need a mentor there. In business, you need a mentor. In research, PhD, you need a mentor. Vruddha Seva. Vruddha Sevayaha, according to Chanakya, Vinayam apnodi. You become humble. You have an open mind. Humility means an open mind. Humility is not humiliation. Humility is not allowing somebody to rub your nose on the ground. Humility means you have an open mind. You are ready to listen. Ability to listen is humility. An open mind. A learning mind. A mind which can learn, unlearn and learn. So you need that humility. So Vruddha Sevayaha Vinayam apnodi. Vinayad Vijnanam. From Vinaya you become wise, he says. Vijnanam, wise. Wisdom is an ability to see things in a 360-degree perspective. You must be able to look at an issue from various angles, like the Syadvada. According to the Jains, any issue can have 7 perspectives, not one perspective. So you may have a perspective, there can be another perspective, there can be a third perspective, fourth perspective. So an ability to bring all these perspectives to shine upon an issue is called wisdom, Vijnanam. That is very, very important. So when you send an airplane to Pakistan, you should know what are the consequences. Will there be any consequence? Without thinking of the consequences, you should not act. So Modi must have thought about the consequences, what will be their reaction, what will be the reaction in the world community, who is going to interfere, who is going to help Pakistan, who is going to help you, and how much risk you can take. All those things he must have thought. All perspectives has to be brought in. You cannot impulsively act. Impulsive act means you will have unexpected consequences and unwelcome consequences also. So bring 360-degree perspective on an issue, then you become a wise man according to Patanjali, according to Chanakya. So Indriya Seva, Indriya Nigraham Vruddha Sevayaha, Vruddha Sevayaha Vinayam Apnodi, Vinayad Vijnanam, knowledge, Vijnanad Atma Sambhadanam. Then you get insight into hidden truths. When the mind is calm and quiet, you get insight into hidden truths. Atma Sambhadanam. When you get insight into hidden truths which is not available for ordinary people, from there when you act, Chanakya says, Sarvarthehi samyujyeda. Success after success come to you, he says. That person alone can be successful. So these are the advice of Chanakya for a leader. A leader who wants to lead a nation or an organization or an NGO or even a hospital or a school, you need this kind of discipline. So I repeat once again, Sughasya moolam dharmaha, dharmasya moolam arthaha, arthasya moolam rajyaha, rajyasya moolam indriya nigraham vruddha sevayaha, vruddha sevayad vinayam apnodi, vinayad vijnanam, vijnanad atma sambhadanam, sambhadyadatma sarvartehi samyujyeda. When you have that insight into the hidden truths, the hidden mechanism of an apparent phenomena. A phenomena apparently looks like this, but the hidden mechanism is different. You can see the buttons. You can press the right button at that time to create the necessary effect. So that is Chanakya's advice for the leaders. Chanakya was a great person. We have to revive Chanakya's memory. We have to revive Chanakya's advices as India is looking into the future. Great lessons can be learned from Chanakya. So I advocate that book, Chanakya's Arthashastra. It's a little difficult book, but with the commentaries and all that, you will be able to master that book. Any businessman, any politician, even if you want to run a family, you must understand what Chanakya says. Arthashastra. Arthashastra by Kautilya. So with this, we have entered into the 5th lecture now. So tomorrow, I'll be talking the Vedantic perspective. I am a teacher of Vedanta, so I thought I will keep it at the last minute. So what does this Vedanta say about a nation, about the future, about destiny of human beings? How do we combine human purposes with the nation's purpose? And the religious and the spiritual and the material, are they contradictory, are they complementary? Is religious pursuit opposed to material pursuit? Can I become a politician and an enlightened person? Can I do business and still strive for enlightenment? Can I live in moksha and still be operating in this world? Or for moksha, should I retire from the world? These are the things. How a leader can be a spiritual, a yogi. So earlier, Plato used to say philosopher king. Philosopher king. A king should be a philosopher. We thought the philosopher cannot be a king, king cannot be a philosopher. But Plato put forth this idea, there has to be a philosopher king. We have an idea called Rajarshi in our country. Rajarshi. Rajascha, Rishishcha, Rajarshi. He is a king as well as a rishi. We have idea of detached engagement. You can engage but still be detached. So how do you combine our pursuit of moksha or spiritual liberation with the pursuit of worldly activities? Because the body requires that. Body requires food. If you are an enlightened person, sit there, somebody has to give you food. Isn't it? So your enlightenment depends upon that one, somebody who brings food. You are always waiting when the food is coming. Enlightened person. Enlightened person cannot osmotically take food. Somebody has to provide you food. That person becomes the center of your concern, not Brahman or anything. When is the food coming? Is it not? So therefore, it is foolish to separate the pursuit of the material and the pursuit of the spiritual. There should be a way of combining. We have to have rajarshis. That is what is our ideal. You can be a king, meaning you can run an organization, you can run an enterprise and still be pursuing spirit. How do you do that? Will be the challenge we will be discussing tomorrow. The Vedantic, the Advaita Vedantic approach to your material problem. So thank you very much. Tomorrow we will meet here at 6:30. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om. If you have some questions, you can write and bring it tomorrow. So the last day, if you have some question, I'm sure you would be, this discussion must have provoked some questions in you. Please write it and keep it here.